What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and welcome to Pretty Dece, the short show about movies, comics, games, and all the pop culture in between. Today on the show, we are talking about video games, and specifically, we're talking about Bungie, the developer, and Activision, the publisher. Those two companies have been in a partnership, been in an agreement, been linked for the past 8 years, and now that's coming to an end. So Bungie is the developer, of course, behind the very popular hit Destiny game series, and then, of course, the Halo series before that. And Activision is the publisher known for the Call of Duty franchise, and many other games. And of course, Activision owns Blizzard, which is the developer behind Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and many other games. So we're talking two pretty massive companies in the world of video games. Now, I said that Bungie had been a part of Activision for 8 years. They came on board to develop Destiny, and now they are leaving and they're taking Destiny with them. They're gonna retain control of Destiny. They're gonna keep that IP, and they're gonna keep producing content for Destiny 2, which is out right now. So nothing is gonna happen negative on that front as far as the game playing populace goes, which is pretty cool. And Bungie getting to keep control of the game that they've poured so much time into is also really great. They're very excited about it for everything that we've heard. There was apparently celebrating when they announced this at their office, and they popped champagne, and lots of rejoicing was had. Destiny will also be staying on Battle.net on the PC. Battle.net is the kind of online launcher platform for Blizzard games and now Activision games on the PC. And Destiny's not going anywhere. It's going to stay on that platform. So it seems like things are somewhat amicable between Bungie and Activision as they are parting ways. It seems like they're mostly on okay terms. The two companies have kind of been at odds with each other while they've been working with each other. I don't know that they've necessarily seen eye to eye. Bungie is more of a company, I think, that wants to take their time on a game they're working on, not put something out every single year. And Activision, as a publisher, has always kind of taken the approach of find a hit franchise and put out a sequel to it every single year in time for the holidays. That's just all they have ever done. And I think those philosophies have maybe clashed a little bit from those two companies. So that's one thing that Bungie won't have to deal with now, is they won't feel the pressure from their publisher to keep putting out content every single year. They can take some time off. They can make sure they get it right. And also the fun side effect there is they don't maybe run their franchise into the ground quite so quickly, which is what the critics of Activision say that they do. And it certainly comes across that way sometimes, that those games are just sort of run until they wring out all the fun and all the excitement out of them, and then they cast them off to the side. So Bungie's pretty pumped. They get to keep their game. They get to do what they want with their game. They also have a new game on the horizon that we don't know anything about. They've partnered with a Chinese internet company called NetEase. They got $100 million from that company to build a brand new game that hasn't even been announced. So they have non-Destiny content on the horizon as well. So they are probably pretty happy and pretty excited about the future. Activision, maybe not so much. Destiny was obviously a huge game in their portfolio, and they don't really have that many huge franchises anymore. Certainly not like they did in the past. Call of Duty is far and away, of course, their big thing still, but even Call of Duty is kind of starting to wane. It's not what it used to be. They have the games that Blizzard has, the very popular games like World of Warcraft and Overwatch, but Blizzard doesn't really put out that many games either. So Activision has, as of late, been looking to cut some costs around Blizzard, and that might get even worse now that Destiny and Bungie are no longer in the fold. So we'll certainly have to wait and see what happens there on the Activision front, but it seems like Bungie at least is pretty excited about this. Bungie has had a pretty interesting kind of history as a developer as well. They originally started as an independent developer working on Halo, and at the time that was a real-time strategy game that they were making for Apple computers, believe it or not. Then eventually they got acquired by Microsoft. Halo became a wildly successful Xbox franchise. And after many years with Microsoft, they negotiated their independence, kind of broke free of Microsoft, and started making Destiny and partnered with Activision. So they didn't stay a completely independent company for very long at all. And they've been with Activision now, as I said, for 8 years, and now again have worked out a deal to have their independence and be able to be on their own once again. So it seems like they do kind of ebb and flow and go through those cycles of getting in very deep with a particular company and then wanting to kind of break apart and part ways with them. So who knows what is in the future for Bungie? Hopefully pretty exciting stuff, and I'm really excited to find out what their new game is and kind of see what direction they head now that they have a little bit more creative freedom, having split from Activision. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today. Thank you very much for joining me to talk about Blizzard and Activision breaking up, essentially. If you want to support Pretty Dece, you can do so. Visit prettydeceshow.com/listener support to find out those details. Of course, you can download the podcast from Google Podcasts, from Apple Podcasts, from Spotify, from Pocket Casts, wherever you download your podcast from. Or you can just check out the YouTube version. Visit youtube.com/prettydece to check out all of the video episodes. And finally, hit me up on social media. Let me know what you think about this deal with Bungie. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @PrettyDeceShow.